Well, hello, Gabby. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you and to talk about your kind of slow and steady, but then rapid growth on YouTube and how that all came about. So, why don't you share with our listeners and viewers why you got onto YouTube when you did, and a little bit about your journey, and then we'll kind of dig into it more.
Yeah, sure. So it's a funny story because I never really watched YouTube before. I don't find that Canadians watch a lot of YouTube. It's very like an American thing.
Mm.
It's not in our culture as much, in my opinion, as in the States. And so I'm a makeup artist and a hairstylist, and I've been doing this for 17 years, and I have a bridal business. And I was on location for a bride. I had never met this bride before, and we were hitting it off. I was doing her hair, I was doing her makeup, and then she told me that she was a full-time YouTuber. And I was like, "You're what? Like, what do you mean you're a full-time YouTuber?" And she was extremely successful on the platform. And then, anyways, did her hair, did her makeup. We bonded, and then she went and got married, and that was the end of our relationship, right? And then about a year or so later, when I just had given birth to my second baby, she asked if she could call me, right? And I said, I'm on maternity leave right now. I'm not really taking clients at the moment. She's like, "No, I want to talk to you about something if you have a minute." So I was like, "Okay, sure." She was in the kids space, and she wanted to get out of the kids space, but she didn't know anything about the beauty space, and she wanted to be in the beauty space. So she said, "Is there any way we can enter a partnership together? I'll tell you what's trending, what to film. I'll give you all the equipment. I'll mail you the lights. I'll mail you the audio equipment. I'll do all of the editing, SEO, uploading, and you just have to film the content organically, and I will edit and cut it up and make it in this thing, and we'll enter this 50-50 partnership." So at first I was like, "What?" I've never recorded anything. I had never been on camera. Like I worked on set work. So I was always behind the scenes working on the talent. I was never the
In front of
talent.
the camera, yeah.
Yeah. So I thought about it for a little bit, and then I thought, yeah, you know what? I'm on maternity leave, and it will give me something to kind of keep me a little sane. You know how it is with babies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I started this thing with her, and we worked on it together for a few months. And then things on her end started to change, like her life started to change. And it was hard for her to like get all of the editing done, and it would just got like hard.
That's a lot to commit to for somebody else's channel. Yeah.
Especially when, as you know, like monetizing this platform, it's not quick.
Wow. Yeah.
So you have to make like 100 videos at least, really, before anything starts happening. And that's a lot of editing when it's not your thing. So I understand why she was like, this isn't working.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. And we had different visions. Like wanted to talk about things that she didn't want me to talk about. And naturally, like we're two different people. So she wanted to make it kind of like a different, like she wanted to cater to a much younger audience. I'm older. So I was like, that's not going to work. And like we had disagreements on things. And so she went her separate ways. It was all good. I gave her all her equipment back. And then I just felt like you get addicted to it. It's crazy. Like you get addicted to this audience and to talking to them and helping them into the comments and connecting in this way.
Yeah.
So yeah. After she left, I kind of invested a little bit of money, and I started doing it all by myself. So that's a long story, but that is how I got in. That's how I got in. I would have never.
That's crazy. I've never heard of it people getting in like that way.
Yeah. And truly, like I would have never done it had it not been for that, because I didn't know anything. Like I didn't know how to light anything. I didn't know how to turn on a camera. Like yeah, so it would have been too overwhelming, I think, for me to try to do all of that alone.
That's what a lot of people do, and YouTube is a very overwhelming. I'm never one to kind of mislead on what YouTube is, because I sell programs and courses and stuff, and it's like YouTube is not the easiest platform. It's probably the hardest platform to master. But when you do, the rewards are, I think, far greater than any other platform.
I completely agree. I think it's probably the hardest platform to find success in, but it's the one that's the most worth putting the effort into, because the monetization opportunities when you become a bigger creator, it's
Huge.
insane. Yeah, it's like nothing else,
Life
right?
changing. I mean, it's like you're like it's completely life changing, and there's nothing else like it. That's why I'm so passionate about it, because it's like, yeah, like, moms, like, people that were doing other things. You can completely transform your life if you can see success on YouTube. It's incredible. So, how long ago did that happen with this creator?
Yeah, so that was 4 years ago.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So we created content together for maybe 6 months. And then I stopped for a little bit because I had to figure out how to edit and how to make
Hmm.
thumbnails. And
Oh, yeah, because she was doing it.
she was doing all of it.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then I reemerged maybe 3 months later once I got a bit of a handle on it.
Yeah.
And then I started posting consistently then. So it's been like a good 3 years of consistent uploads.
Wow. So, how many subscribers, or like how big of a channel were you when you parted ways with that other creator?
Oh, I had like 500 subscribers.
Oh, okay. So it was like, yeah, you were like literally just starting out still.
Yeah, I was like a newborn. I was a newborn baby creator.
Wow, I mean, that's pretty interesting. So you are, makeup or hair artist, makeup artist, hair stylist. So your channel from the beginning, from the get-go, was always beauty, right?
So there was an evolution process.
Okay.
So I started with makeup, and then I quickly realized that the makeup creators on YouTube are amazing.
Mhm.
And they have better equipment than me. They have better editors than me. They have skin filters I didn't have access to. Like, they have all the things that make the makeup look insanely amazing.
Mhm.
And they have the talent. Like, I don't want to downplay that. They're amazing. Like the big artists on YouTube, like Tati and
Mhm.
Nikki Tutorials, they're phenomenal. And so in every way, including like how to film makeup, how to light for makeup, how to do backgrounds for makeup. And I felt like I couldn't compete with them because they were like they were too good, right?
Mhm.
So I felt like going and trying so hard to grow a makeup channel was a losing battle. So then I pivoted to fashion.
Mm.
And fashion was fun, but the problem with fashion is that each video costs so much money.
Yes, the barrier to entry to fashion and to do it right, it's so high.
It's so high because
Mhm.
you need to show products that are accessible to buy. So they have
Mhm.
to be like products that are selling
Current.
now.
Yeah.
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 So that I did that for a while, but then I was like, I'm gonna be broke because I'm not making any money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I started researching because I am a hairstylist as well, like licensed. And then I started researching more like the hair space, like Mila Boo and
Mhm.
Elle Bangs and like all of those girls. And I noticed that there was great content. They had great content, but there was not a lot of them actually.
Yeah, I know. There's not.
Yeah. So then I made it 100% a hair channel. And I even
Mhm.
made my slogan like your hairstylist bestie, because I'm
Mhm.
getting a lot of comments like that, like, oh my God, you're like my virtual hairstylist best friend. And
Yeah.
it became like this niche. And then I really focused on that. And then when I got to 100,000 views, I started testing the waters a little because I was getting so many requests for how did you do your makeup in that video? And your makeup looks, and I was actually a
Mhm.
makeup artist before a hairstylist. So I would
Oh,
say like
okay.
skill level and that's really high. So I started expanding a little and testing by doing like experimental videos and launching and seeing how they did in comparison to the hair videos. And they started performing very well. So then I've opened up now to be makeup and hair, but for
Mm.
a long time it was just hair. And that's 100% why my channel grew.
Yeah, makeup is a tough nut to crack in the sense that it's so saturated and competitive. So there's so many people doing makeup. Like back in the day, it was just like, oh, okay, show up and do your makeup. But now, like you said, there's a lot of production that goes into it, right? So that's interesting
Yeah.
that you made that pivot to hair. But sometimes you have to become known for something, and then you can kind of do other things as well and expand beyond. I always say like niching is great, like when you're brand new at the beginning, to kind of get known and get yourself out there. But then going broad really helps to also expand your channel as well.
Yes. I had a whole like journey through that because
Mm-hmm.
what really got my channel on the map was a video I did called My Hair Loss Story because I had alopecia.
Mm-hmm.
And that video went viral. And then because that video went viral, I had so many people with hair loss subscribe to the channel. So then for a long time,
You're
like,
talking a lot about that hair loss.
yeah, for like a
Yeah.
year, it was
Yeah.
only hair loss.
Yeah.
And then I felt like, for one, I got incredibly bored.
Yeah.
And I
Pigeonhole.
felt like, right? Like I kind of tapped that out. Like once you hit like 50,000 subscribers that are interested in hair loss, you're like kind of tapped out.
Mm-hmm.
And I took hair loss and I connected it to fine hair and made a lot of content on fine hair. And that like broadened it more. And then I started doing more generalized hair content that people with fine hair or hair loss would also like. Like, should you
Mm.
cut your hair short? Why or why not? Things to
Mm-hmm.
consider. But everyone wants to know that. People with thick hair are thinking about that, you know? So it was very strategic. My strategy, like my growth was very strategic. I
Mm-hmm.
think some people think, like, especially people that aren't creators, that you just like make content and you like get a following. It was never like that for me.
Right.
Like I had a strategy.
That's great. So, would you say that your strategy was kind of like almost experimenting with different niches and then finding one that worked and broadening out? Or what would you say, kind of your looking back, what would you say was your main strategy to get you to where you are today?
So I think at the beginning, I didn't know enough to know what I was doing. So it was very like experimenting and making things that were like fun and exciting and like, and then that was all fine and dandy. But then when you're doing that forever and you're not getting views or income, it starts getting less fun. So what I did is like I would find a video that would work and then I would double down on it and see if that worked. And then I would triple down and I started like creating these like series playlists where like videos fell into one another.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone found one video, they would for sure also like this video and this video and this video and this video. So that was my initial strategy for sure. And then lately, now that I'm a bigger creator and I have more understanding of the platform, I have these audience avatars that I've created and I've made like full like stories about them. Like it's all written out. Like there's Karen. Karen is 55. She is starting to notice deeper wrinkles. She's really insecure about that. Her estrogen levels have gone down because she's going through menopause. She's getting some thinning hair. She's not feeling her best, but she's stuck wearing her hair how she did in her 30s, but it's not working anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'll make videos for Karen now. And then there's Janice, who is 60 and her kids are out of the house. She's retiring and she's worried about these. And like, I know these women, I know where they live online. I know what they shop. I know what they're interested in. I know what their fears are. And I package and cater every video to like those women. So I kind of I rotate between these four avatars that I have
Mm-hmm.
and I make videos like perfectly packaged for them. And I know who they are and what they'll click on now.
That's amazing. I love that. That's exactly part of the strategy that I've always taught. And it's one that I feel that people talk about, but they don't really realize how important it is because I have my audience attraction system. And part of that is understanding who your true fan is. And I love how you even talked about how, you understand their fears. And I always, you have to understand them, not just on the superficial level, which you want to do as well, kind of like what you said. She's 55. She's, her estrogen level dropped, this and that. But more on a psychological level, like what are their fears? What are their deep desires? What are their needs, their wants? Like all of that. And knowing that about that person inside and out is really going to help create dynamic content that's not just going to be superficial, but it's going to tap into those emotional triggers to get someone to click.
That's like you couldn't have said it better. That's the thing. And like for me, for example, like I know that if I use the keyword look younger, five
Mm-hmm.
tips to look younger after
Mm-hmm.
50, five hair tips for looking younger for longer.
Yeah.
I hate using those keywords. I think it's toxic. I think it's
Yeah.
really damaging in society to feel like you need to look younger. But I know for a fact
That works.
the data, it works.
Yes, I know that. It's crazy. Yes, that's
Right? But I also know these women don't want that. So then whenever I do a video with that title, I'll always do a hook at the beginning that says like, you know, I these are going to be 5 tips for feeling amazing in this incredible time in your life where you can enjoy your grandkids, where you have more time for yourself. You know, this is a video to celebrate you. So it's not like this is a video to like hide your wrinkle. Like they don't really want that. But they will click on that video.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think they don't and they do. Like, I think they actually do want that, but they don't necessarily. It's like, because people, that's the thing. It's like people click on this stuff. So it's like, and I think there's this internal struggle that a lot of creators have that it's like, oh, you know, saying to look younger, saying to look 10 years younger, or what, you know, thinner, this and all these things, right? That, you know, just from a kind of, just from a humanity standpoint, you don't want to just be pushing that, because there's so much more to people and women and who we are and all that. However, that is what's so fascinating to me about YouTube, because it's a study about like human nature and how humans kind of react to certain things emotionally, and it's what works. So you can't deny, and that's why I think there becomes this whole situation where like, oh, you know, you don't want to like perpetuate something, but if you want to get your work out there and your message and your mission, which I know you have a very strong mission in regards to helping women, that you people have to watch your videos. So in some ways, there's this fine line of understanding what works, but also, like you said, making sure that the content in the video is promoting a, you know, whatever your the positive mission and message is.
Well, that's the thing, right? And I think that's why like doing an avatar study like that and taking time to do that when you're a young creator it's the make or break, because you have to understand their fears. Like they're struggling with aging, right? That sucks and it's hard, and you can give them solutions that will help. So you're using this kind of trigger word to get them to click, but then when they're in, you can use your ability to connect and to make them feel like it's okay that you're feeling this way. And like,
you're not alone.
You're not alone, and aging is beautiful. And like, this is how we're going to celebrate that. And I think that really helps, because then the channel doesn't become negatively focused, you know, but you know them well enough to also know that they're going to click on that so that you can help them then.
Yeah, I love that. So how do you continue coming up with new ideas? And I think that's what happens sometimes too, is that you know kind of what works. So then you kind of get, I don't say stuck, but then you know, it's like every video, it's like you don't want everyone to say, look younger, look younger, look younger, you know what works. But how do you come up with content that continues to allow you to be successful and also evolve as well?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I have a couple of strategies for this. One thing that I do a lot is I read like every comment. The first thing I do when I wake up is I open my YouTube app and I read comments, and I read them and I read them and I read what people are commenting to other people's comments. And now the channel's big, there's like thousands of comments a day. And I'll start to like categorize what's happening. So a lot of people will open up in the comments about things they're struggling with, and I'll notice these patterns, right? And then I'll curate a video for those group of women that are all struggling with the same things based on the comments. So that's one strategy that I do. Another strategy that I've put into place recently is called a bucket system. And so the best way to grow on YouTube is to be shown in recommendations. So when someone watches your video, you want that video on the side, the recommendation videos, to all be your videos. Right? And a way to do that is to title your titles in almost the exact same way, changing out an X factor. So one of my video buckets is women with thin fine hair love X, and I can see why. And so I have about 6 video buckets, and I rotate through them. So I'll do women with thin fine hair love this haircut, and I can see why. Women with thin fine hair love this tool, and I can see why. Women with thin fine hair love this technique, and I can see why. And I won't launch them all at the same time, so it's not boring for the audience, but I'll filter through these buckets. So another bucket I have is I tried X, so you don't have to. I tried the mermaid waver, so you don't have to. I tried the automatic curler, so you don't have to. And so I often try to rotate through all of these video buckets, and it's been working amazingly well. Like in January, I got 37,000 new subscribers,
Mm-hmm.
and it's because my channel now is majority of the views are coming from the recommendations panel, because I have so many videos in each bucket that every time someone watches a bucket, they're offered so many other videos in that bucket that they're more likely to watch another one of my videos. And
Yeah.
then if they watch 2 or 3 of my videos, they're more likely to subscribe.
Yes. Yeah. The key is getting that bingeable content. And that's huge. And as a creator, you have to kind of, like you said, use a lot of strategy so that YouTube suggests these videos. And they're also related so that the viewer is like, oh, okay, I want to watch this one and I want to watch that one because it's something I'm interested in. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's that. So I'm sure though it takes a minute to figure out which titles work, right? Because a huge part about YouTube is testing and doing little tweaks. I know when I work with my clients, it's a lot of it is, okay, we're really figuring out together like what works. And it's small tweaks kind of make over time make big changes. So how do you come to the point where you're like, okay, I confidently know these are the buckets that I want to move forward with for my channel?
How do I come to that point?
Yeah, yeah, because I would imagine it's not you don't want to make that decision right away when you're starting out with like a new video concept. Be like, okay, because that's the mistake I sometimes see people doing too. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do like 6 or 7 of these videos, and it's you're like, yeah, but like unless you are testing and trying different things out, you don't or different title concepts or whatever, you don't know 100% if that's going to be the best one. You know, so how do you get to that point?
I I think the key is to do, especially at the beginning when you don't have like proof from your
Mm-hmm.
analytics of what's working, you have to do like tests, right? You have to like, and this is why I do like, I'll make a video based on like the comments, and I'll call it like my experimental week. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll like do all these videos that I know for sure will perform, and then I'll like slide one in and see how it does. And
Mm-hmm.
if that video takes off, then I start adding more series to that bucket. But I
Mm-hmm.
always think about when I'm curating like a title now, if I can change an X factor in that title. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like, how can I, because I need them to all work together. Like, YouTube has to kind of like flow all
Understand.
together.
Yeah, yeah,
I
and
think other
you're uh-huh.
creators less strategic than me, like that just create videos that are, but I very much, I work in a strategy clearly.
So I mean, I that's how I operate. I mean, that's what I do. That's what I do with all my clients. It's everything is so strategic, and you can work without a strategy. Like I've seen people be able to kind of do it, and it works too, right? But it's YouTube is evolving. There's more and more people coming onto the platform. So even if you don't operate like that all the time, it's so important to know and understand at least the platform and understand the analytics. What kind of blows my mind sometimes is like the fact that people really do not study their analytics, and without knowing your analytics, you don't have the data to make the decisions and the changes. So
Yeah.
I base everything when I'm working with people in the channels that I run, that those analytics are like everything to me.
Yeah. Yeah, because you have to launch something, right? And then see, even like, for example, when I look at, say I launch a video and it performs well or doesn't, I'll go to my average view duration, right? And I'll see where I'm dipping, where I'm
Mm-hmm.
going, and I'll say, okay, like I used to have an end screen where as soon as I always end my videos, instead of like ending it with an outro, I end it like really fast so that there's no like, because I saw that in my analytics that I was getting this when I thank you guys for watching, blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah. It was like drop,
yeah. Nobody wants
right?
to sit there and watch that. Yeah.
Yeah. So now I do, I'll say like, tip number 5 is blah, blah, blah. And then out of nowhere, I'll just say, this video's over. And then it cuts to the screen where you can choose another
Yes.
video. And I was even finding that I had there's this music. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like a part of my branding.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this thing where like this little ball would drop and drop twice and then the end screen. And I was checking in my analytics that because the ball was dropping twice, I was losing too many people in the second drop. So I
Mm-hmm.
shortened the ball drop section
Oh
where
wow.
it cuts to the, so you have to be like, you're right. Like so many people don't look at their analytics, but if you scrutinize to a degree, like you can't get micro focused.
Yeah.
But if you look at things that are working in every video and look at where things like where sections aren't working and you roll them into your next video, you'll see tremendous growth because it's talking to you have the data, use the data.
YouTube gives it to you for a reason. They want, I mean, as much as people are say, oh, the algorithm, this and that, it's like, I believe that YouTube does want you to succeed. They provide you those analytics for a reason, and they're so robust. I mean, when you compare with other platforms and their analytics that they provide to you, there's nothing like the YouTube analytics. And I'm like, that's almost a gift to a creator, is to give them all of this data and information. I mean, like for podcasts, it's like, I don't know where people drop. Like, I don't know any of that stuff. They don't provide you, the iTunes or whatever, they don't provide it to you. I know it from my YouTube, the analytics, but not, so other platforms, YouTube does provide these to you, and it's like you said, use it. So when you're planning your videos, what's that process for you like? When say you have a new video concept, or let's say, do you plan them once a month, or how does that process go for you?
Yeah, so I definitely plan. Like I know that there's some creators that just go on and it's very organic. Like my content is like very research. So if I come up with my concept, say I was reading my comments and I came up with a great concept, then I'll write that concept down. And before I do anything, I'll write what the title of that video is going to be and like 5 different variations of that title in case because I need to script so that the title makes sense, so that there's like a strong enough hook to reinforce the title to keep people on, right? Because I noticed in my analytics that works. So I'll make like my video title with like 4 or 5 different video title options, and then I'll write my hook, and then right under my hook a short intro, and then I'll go into my points. Everything is completely scripted, and I'll read it out loud several times so that I can see like, this is draggy and this is parts boring and like this needs more pizzazz, and I'll know exactly in my script I'm going to insert B-roll of this here and I'm going to insert B-roll of that here, and this is going to be a tutorial section where I'm doing my hair or doing a model's hair. And so then typically I film my B-roll sections first, and then I film my scripted section, and I use a teleprompter, so I'm going to give all my secrets here.
That was my next question. Are you using a teleprompter? Yeah.
Yeah, I am, because I find like from my data that if things are slow moving or there's ums or hesitations, like I lose people too quickly. So I script it so that it feels like natural talking, but it's like really fast moving. Like there's no ums, there's no ahs, there's no hesitation, there's no like this might work, like this doesn't work. Yeah. Then I'll film my voiceover section, which is my scripted section with the teleprompter, and then all of that other B-roll section, which is already put in the script, is done. And then I have basically like I'll have a B-roll, I'll have like a tutorial, I'll have my voiceover, and then it just has to be edited and integrated together.
Yeah. So are you doing everything yourself now, or do you have people helping you for any aspect of your channel?
Yeah. So when I hit 100,000, I started getting a lot of brand deal opportunities, and it became like unmanageable. It really was like impossible for me to produce that much content, especially because everything I do is very researched. I really think about it. I look into the every single thing. Like, is this actually gonna work? Like in terms, like if I'm talking about a hair oil, I'll research all the ingredient. Like I'm so psychotic about it. So because I really do want like extremely high quality content, I have a team now. So I have an editing team. I have a creative director who works for me. She creates all of the thumbnails. Her and I brainstorm a lot of the ideas. She does a lot of the kind of the creative aspects of it, where she thinks about, okay, where should we film B-roll? How should we set this up? How should we light it? So that's Lori. And then I have my editing team. And then I have a manager in LA who manages all of the brand deals. And that is it. Yes, that's it.
That's great.
So
yeah. Yeah. But that, I mean, it really takes a team, because when you talk about the way that you structure your videos and set them up and film it and everything, if you were to do that on your own, it would take so much time.
Yeah, so I did everything on my own
Hmm.
until I got to 100,000. And the problem with doing everything on your own is that you outgrow your skills. So then if you don't hire people, you won't grow as quickly because
Hmm.
it won't be as good.
Hmm.
And so you spent a bit of money to hire the people that are better. Like Rachel, my editor, is way better at editing than
Yeah.
me. So my videos get a higher average view duration after she started editing them, which means that they get pushed out more, which means that they get more views, which means I get more AdSense revenue, which means I get more sponsorship. So
Hmm.
I've paid her whole month contract in like one
Yeah,
video
the
now.
ROI is so much. You get that return on investment is huge. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
when you're new, it's hard to think about swallowing that. Like you have to be at a place for sure where you're bringing enough income where it makes sense,
Hmm.
but short-term income loss will lead to like a massive income gain.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm a big believer in investing in people that, like you said, it's like I like how you said. I've never heard anyone say that, but like you do, your channel eventually outgrows your own skill level. It depends. For some people, they're actually amazing editors. For some people, they're great at whatever. Some creators have talents, but not everybody does. Not everybody is good at editing or thumbnails, but like they've gotten to a point where yeah, they almost have to up level that either their own skill set or hire out. And so, I think that's such a great example that you just made. So then how many videos are you uploading every week now?
I upload 2 videos a week for
Okay.
sure.
Has that been the whole time, even when you were doing everything yourself?
No, when I did it myself, I couldn't do more than 1 video a week
Mm-hmm.
because of the research and the writing, that takes me a full workday,
Yeah.
and then it takes me another full workday to film. And then editing was taking me another full workday.
Mm-hmm.
So I was launching every like 5, 6 days just to get the video there was like a whole week.
Yeah.
So now outsourced, I can really focus on researching to make sure the information's accurate and writing, which is what I'm the best at, and
Mm.
then
Filming.
filming.
Yeah, that's great. So then how long now does it take you to put together, like how long of your own time were you taking for one video, and now with the team how long of your own time is it taking you to do one video?
Oh, that's a great question. So I would say I was working at least 4 full days, like 4 8-hour days to do one
Mm-hmm.
video before on my own,
Mm.
because then there's thumbnail design and all of that SEO. And now I would say it takes me half the time. Like it still takes me a full day to script
Mm-hmm.
and then do SEO, make sure everything, like do all of the research. And then it takes me another half a day, I would say, to film. So it's like a day and a half now, really, to do a video of my time.
Yeah, I mean that's huge. That's so much time back that you get. And then like you said, now you can do double the amount of content. So then you can do more brand deals. You can do, I mean, there's more money, that's a big difference.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
It was getting hard because when you have like a lot of sponsorship opportunities, you get a little bit stuck in like I vet my products. I'm like psychotic about it, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll only talk about products that like I really really love. But I like to do at least half my videos unsponsored for my own like creative outlet and to be able to
Mm-hmm.
talk a little bit more freely and organically without like talking points and all that stuff. So I found like if you can only do 4 videos a month, you you could book 4 sponsors a month, but you're really losing out on like your voice. You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah. It's true because I'll get some people that come working with me and like every single video is sponsored. I'm like, ugh, I get it. You want to have sponsors, like you definitely do. But then sometimes it's really good just to, like you said, have that creative freedom. And I think there's a balance because you still need to have the sponsors. It's a huge part of generating an income, but you don't want to be so sponsor driven because what happens is that when you work with a sponsor, they have certain things that they're looking for and needing from you. So then you're thinking more
Yeah.
about the sponsor and less about your audience. And I know there's
Yeah.
that balance of trying to figure out both, but then when you're free in a video not to have any sponsors, then you could just really, 100% focus on the audience.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
It's a love-hate relationship because you do appreciate the sponsors, and
Mm-hmm.
the products that I get are amazing, like the ones I talk about, and I want to share them,
Mm-hmm.
but there are like major limitations in the creation process when it's sponsored.
Yeah. So then how are you able to find such great team members?
Yeah. So Lori, who's my creative director, I knew her from before
Mm-hmm.
because she worked in the fashion industry and so did I forever.
Mm-hmm.
So we worked together like on and off on different projects forever. And then she left the agency that she was with. And then I reached out to her and said, like, do you want to join my YouTube team?
Mm-hmm.
And she was down for it. So that was really easy. The editors that I found is actually a company called VidPros.
Mm-hmm.
You buy a subscription from them online. It's super affordable. It's $700 a month US.
Mm-hmm.
And they will edit 2 hours a day for you, 5 days a week. So you get 40 hours of editing in a month for 700. And I tested them out. I found them through a friend of mine, Desiree
Mm-hmm.
Martinez, who was on your show actually.
Yeah. A couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, so Desiree told me to try them. She had
Mm-hmm.
success with them, and they've been amazing, like absolutely incredible. And then James, who's my manager,
Mm-hmm.
he runs a company called I Am Social LA,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually met him at Vid Summit when I was there as a creator just to learn,
Mm-hmm.
and we like randomly connected through the Vid Summit app, and we met for a drink, and then him and I became partners as well, and he represents me, and working with him has been like literally life changing. Like the brand deals that he offers and gets me there, it's a totally different game now than it was when I was doing it myself.
That's great. And it's interesting how you met a lot of these people just kind of through like networking and stuff. It's kind of, that's a big thing. It's like who you know and who you end up connecting with. And because it can be hard to find people that know and understand YouTube, from an editing perspective or a thumbnail perspective and everything in general. So that's cool. That's cool how you found them. So,
Yeah. You should, like, if anyone's watching this and they're looking for that growth, like investing in events, like YouTube
mm-hmm.
focused events like Vid Summit is massive. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I went to Vid Summit in the fall, it completely changed the way I thought about YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially in person events. I mean, I've met, I went, when I lived in LA, I would go to VidSummer every year. And I met so many people and just, it was great. I met a ton of people. One year I even got to speak and it was really cool. And it's just, there's something about the energy of being together in person with people that share the same passions that you do, which is YouTube. You don't really get that in your everyday life. So it's really cool. If you can try and go to events or even join masterminds or groups, or that's kind of why I have my boot camp, like having people together. I'm such a big believer that people together and like, minds together is just so much better than being on an island and isolated. So,
Totally.
mhm,
Totally.
that's so
And
cool.
you have to like take into account too, like I hate to say this because it sounds like a bit egotistical, but I think when you're really little, you take like everyone's opinions into account, and
Mhm.
you have to think like not all opinions are equal. Like surrounding yourself with creators that like are successful
Really know your
creators,
stuff. Yeah. Mhm.
it's different, right? Like I
Mhm.
felt like I was doing so great when I went to Vid Summit. I went from 20,000 to 100,000 subscribers in less than 6 months. And I was like, pat on the back, pat on the back. And then when I was at Vid Summit, I'd have these incredible creators that had over 1 million, and they
Yeah.
were looking at analytics being like, your CTR is really low. And like, this thumbnail sucks. And I'm like, what do you mean? You
I
know what I mean?
know. I know. It's so true. It's funny. Yeah, because once you're in that world of like really understanding like what it takes to grow, there's a more discerning eye. You understand it more. So that's cool. I'm so glad that you had that experience. It's really cool. It's a great event. Do you have any of these questions or concerns about your YouTube channel? Did I pick the right niche? Should I be focusing on this audience for my channel? What kind of videos should I create that will attract a really good loyal audience? Why am I growing so slow? I'm so overwhelmed with YouTube and I don't know if what I'm doing is the right thing to do to grow. Let me tell you, if you are thinking any of these things, you are not alone. Those are some of the questions I get most often as a YouTube strategist and coach for the last 7 years, and that is why I created my all-new $39 audience attraction system. The audience attraction system is based off of my experience coaching hundreds of YouTubers, many of which have grown tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of subscribers and attracted millions of views. I took the system that I use with my coaching clients and packaged it into the audience attraction system so that you now have access to this incredible action plan at a crazy low, affordable cost of $39. I want to give you the system you need to skyrocket your YouTube channel and start seeing results ASAP. Whether you're ready to blow up and scale the YouTube channel you already have, or you're just getting started but want to start seeing YouTube growth yesterday, the Audience Attraction System is the perfect fit for you. You can learn more about it by going to erikaviera.net/YAAS. Again, that is erikaviera.net/YAAS. So now that we're nearing the last part of the interview, I want to go through questions I ask everybody that's come onto the podcast. And these are kind of like rapid fire, whatever first thing that comes to your mind. So you ready for that, Gabi?
Oh God. Okay, let's go. Let's do it.
The first one is, what is your number one struggle with YouTube?
I know. I got to do it short. It's planning the next video while making a video. Like it's like making so much like you're like working ahead, and it can be very overwhelming.
Yeah, definitely. So what's your kind of tip for that?
Oh, I don't know. I'm on the struggle bus with that.
Oh, so you're still in the struggle. You're in the struggle. That is you're like, that's my struggle. I don't know. Yeah, churning it out twice a week, even with the team. It's especially with like the amount of research and stuff that you do. If you were to start over with your channel right now, what, if anything, would you do differently?
I would be a lot more, I would have a better plan for what kind of content I wanted to make, and not like spend such a long time experimenting with like random different niches and not having it work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'd be focused in my approach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but sometimes it's hard to do that when you don't really know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like,
hindsight's 2020, right?
Yeah. You're like, yeah, if I knew what I knew now, but like at the time, you have no idea what you're doing. Most people don't when they're starting, right? What is your favorite video you've created that you have on your channel?
Oh, my very, very favorite video is 5 tips to look younger after 50. And it's using the same model in her 50s. And I showed makeup mistakes that I see a lot of women make, and then how you should do your makeup instead. That is my absolute, by far, favorite video I've ever made.
Oh, I love that. What is your number one tip for preserving your mental health as a creator?
I think it's trying to not let the negativity and the comments like get under your skin, and absolutely do not engage and respond with them. That is a losing battle. Yeah, I think that's probably the hardest, is trying to manage your feelings when you get that negative comments.
Yeah. Because if you allow that to impact your mind, get in there, and then kind of what happens is that becomes then like a truth that isn't necessarily a truth, and then you start bringing that into future videos. So I think that's huge. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What have you ever wanted to just give up? What happened there, and how did you get back on track?
Oh my God, yes, so many times. Are you kidding? YouTube. If you haven't wanted to give up, then you're not doing it right.
Yeah. Was there like a specific time?
Yeah, there was, for years, I was I was spending, 20 hours a week making these videos and getting no views, and having it not go anywhere. And I told my husband 1,000 times, I'm going to stop. This is a waste of my time. I'm not making any money. Like, I could be taking more clients and making more money. We have a family. Like, this is crazy. What am I doing? It's been 2 years,
Yeah.
And what made me keep going was setting small, realistic goals and reassessing when I hit that time. So my husband would say, okay, by December 31st, 2020, we need 10,000 subscribers. If we haven't hit 10,000 subscribers, then we'll think about it, whether or not it's worth doing it. And I would work super hard and try my absolute best with every single video until December 31st. And then I'd see if I hit that goal or if I was really close to hitting that goal. And I think that kept me like motivated because I would always hit the goal. And then I'd be like, okay, so now that we got 10,000, we need 20,000 in half the time. Can we hit 20,000 in half the time it took to hit 10? And then if we don't hit that, we'll reassess if it's worth doing it. And because there was an end date, the work didn't feel as daunting because I'm like, I only have to do this until March. And if I don't get it in March, then I'm just going to like abandon this whole thing.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. It's good to set those goals, and I like that. Any video you were particularly excited about that just flopped?
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. I did a video. You know, when that AI trend came out and everyone was making like AI art?
Oh, yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, and it was going viral everywhere. And I'm like, I'm going to jump on this trend. So I made this video called AI, Artificial Intelligence Made Me Look Hotter in Real Life.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about how you can use AI to inspire you to get a look in real life that's like super flattering, like how to analyze your AI art, how to use AI makeup tools. I thought this video was
It's gonna be
so
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, this is gonna go viral for
Yeah.
sure. And it was
Yeah.
like one of my worst performing videos.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Yeah, sometimes you just never know. Sometimes, and then sometimes you have videos that you upload. You're like, oh, they're not your favorite, or you just kind of slap them together, and they're the ones that go viral.
It's so true. And I die inside because I'm like, that video, I look so bad in that video.
I know. I know. I know. You could do all the studying and strategizing in the world, and YouTube can still be unpredictable.
Yeah, that's true. It
Mhm.
is. It can be very unpredictable,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the biggest opportunity you got as a result of being a YouTube creator?
Yeah. So when I was still like a mid-tier creator around maybe 50,000, this wig company out of Texas heard about me and my hair loss story and wanted to feature me in like their upcoming campaign. And so they flew me down to LA and they custom fitted me with this like phenomenal wig. And we worked with like a huge famous celebrity photographer, celebrity makeup artist. Like the makeup artist that was working on the campaign was Mariah Carey's makeup artist.
Mm,
It was so
wow.
surreal. Like when they contact me, I'm like, this is a scam for sure. Like I'm gonna get kidnapped or
Yeah. Yeah.
robbed.
Yeah.
But I took a chance and I obviously researched them and then I went and it was the most insane week of my life. Like it was crazy and it was
Oh.
amazing. It was amazing.
Wow. How cool. That's really cool. Um,
Yeah.
what would you say has kept you going over the last, I don't know, how many years have you been doing this? As a YouTuber?
100% community. The women who you like touch and who you have an impact on, it is so heartwarming. There's a bunch of audience members that I recognize their username. They
Mm-hmm.
comment on every video, and I feel like they're like a part of my like close friend group, you
Yeah.
know? Um, I just love that. I love that I can like help people feel better. And I get these comments like, I'm 77 and I tried your eyelash hack and I feel so beautiful today. And like
Oh,
that that's everything to me, you know?
yeah. That's great. That's
Yeah.
awesome. What is your superpower that you think has led to your success on YouTube?
Oh, I say this all the time. Hair and makeup is literally my superpower. Like I have felt this way since I was a kid. makeup and hair has the ability to completely change the way that you feel. I feel like with those tools, because I have so much experience, I can like see who someone is and I can like bring it out and they can look how they feel. And women who are going through like chemo treatments or divorce or death in their family or like traumatic experiences, being able to like literally take the beauty inside them and make it who they are on the outside is the most powerful thing ever. And I just have such a passion for that. And I'm absolutely certain that the reason that my channel did well has very little to do with like me, but more to do with like the skills I've acquired in this industry for as long as I've been in it. Cause I can like, I feel like this just sounds like I have a huge ego, but like, I'm like, like in Cinderella, I have this magic wand and I just love that. I love my trade and I've put so much time, heart and training into it that I just love that I can do that for people and show other people how to do it for themselves.
That's amazing, because that superpower also lends itself, like with that confidence in what you do, it lends itself into being really good in front of the camera and being really kind of magnetic with what you talk about, because that's the kind of confidence. And I always say that it's like having this confidence in whatever it is you're doing or talking about is so fundamental to attracting an audience, because people want to watch people that are confident in what they do and they're excited and passionate, and you I could just sense it here. I mean, I've seen your videos before too, and you have that, and so it becomes, it's kind of, that's the thing we've talked about this whole interview about strategy and all that, but none of that will work if you as a creator are not passionate and confident in what you're talking about.
Totally. And I think that's in large part why, beyond like the monetary restrictions with the fashion content, I really think that's a large part why the fashion content never performed well, because in my soul, in my profession, I'm a hair and makeup artist. I'm not a fashion stylist. I like fashion, but you have to have that like deep level passion for something to make people feel that.
You do. It's got to transfer. I call it like OCT, on camera energy transfer. It's got to transfer through the lens to the other side. The other people have to feel it, and that feeling is what people then want more of, right? They want to learn more. They want to feel like they're your, what did you say, my hairstylist bestie? Is that what you said? Yeah, that oh my gosh, I love her. She's amazing. Oh my gosh, she's kind of like my bestie. You're responding to comments. They feel good when they're watching you. But that comes because you have such a passion. So I love that you brought that up. I thought that was so cool. And then last question is, what is your number one piece of advice you would tell somebody who is just starting out on YouTube?
100%. It's, you cannot give up. You have got to keep going. And I'm talking like a video a week for an entire year. Before that, you can't even think about giving up. This is not a fast moving platform. It can be, but it most likely isn't. And if you're not, if you don't have 100,000 subscribers in a year, it does not mean that you're failing. You just have to plant your seeds and let the garden grow. And every single video is a seed. And you cannot give up. Yeah. Do not give up. You will fail.
Yeah. I love it, because I think of that too. It's like every video you put out there is an opportunity to get picked up and to get picked up, but it's also another opportunity for you to learn and become better and make those tweaks and make those changes. So I love it. Well, Gabi, it was such a pleasure chatting with you. I love talking to someone that also loves the strategy just as much as I do. I love the strategy behind YouTube. Obviously, that's what I do. That's why I do it. I really resonated with so much of what you were saying. So this is a really fun interview for me. So thank you so much. And I'm sure, viewers and listeners loved it. For anybody that's listening and watching that isn't familiar with your channel, where can they go and find you?
Yeah. So my channel is called Glam Girl Gabi, Gabi. And I am mostly on YouTube. I have a small Instagram, but I live on YouTube. So if you want to communicate with me, communicate in the comments. And I really do read every single one.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Gabi.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Bye.
Bye.